It's
Hello,
all,
hello.
the recording light is on.
We are back. DX3 Podcast Radio. Death, divorce, dating,
And drinking.
huh?
Death, divorce, dating, and drinking should be
Drinking.
DX4 radio.
We could add another one in there too that starts with a D.
Oh,
Drugs. Hey,
I was going to say something else.
well, yeah. Well, that kind of goes in with divorce or dating, you know.
And drugs.
Yeah. People, we're only discussing this because in Canada, where we broadcast from,
Yes.
cannabis is legal. That's what we were talking about.
Well, just one drug.
One, yes. Weed. That's all. Okay.
What's your drink of choice today? You got a little fancy on me again.
You know what? It's sort of like a nice summer vibe. It's a Radler, you know, and these are quite popular in the summer here, up in Muskoka in Canada again.
Yep.
Yeah, we consume a lot of these on the dock.
Very true.
So again, it's grapefruit though. It's grapefruit and beer, I guess is what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
I really like fruit.
I'm doing a Corona with a straw.
We're having Corona. Now, do you always put like a lime in that or do you not care?
I do.
Yes.
I didn't today because, well, we didn't have any and I'm lazy. And then like, I didn't know what to drink. And then Dave was in the garage. So I'm like, just give me whatever's in the fridge in there. So this is what I got. And then cheers. And then like, I've got like a gloss on. And so like the rim of the thing was just like caked in gloss. So I grabbed this little paper straw.
Sorry. That's a good idea though. I'm sliding.
You okay there?
Yeah. I haven't been drinking that much, honest.
Hilarious. So yeah, Corona with a straw for me.
Nice. Okay. You're such a lady.
Well, let's not take it that far.
Well, it's pretty ladylike drinking with a straw. Like, I don't know. It's just me. I'm not even using a straw.
Well, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So how have you been this week?
Good. I have been just doing stuff around the house. Dave has been working his ass off, like kind of like building sheds and cleaning garages and building shelving units in the garage and like basically like a year and a half of home renovation and shit was just in our garage.
Right.
So it was horrendous in there because it was just a mess from the move. Guys were cutting wood, tile, like you can just imagine a shit show in there. So he has like perfected it. It's clean and beautiful. But then, as I told you earlier, the people who sold us the house, one of the garage doors, they decided to take one of the openers with them. So
random.
So we had to go out and buy one. So he's been installing that. And so if you hear some rat-a-tat-tat, that's him behind me.
Or some cursing, maybe.
Yeah. Or, hey, I need you. I told him I'm doing the podcast, so hopefully
he does. So there's none of that. There's none of that right now.
Well, I told him just to zip it, and then I just threw a blanket on the bird cage, so he's not going
off. How has life been with Tuco and Coco?
They are the best ever. Coco and I have totally bonded. She's amazing. She eats little treats. She gets a little treat in the morning and one at night, and we do a little play. She's adorable. And Tuco obviously is going to take more time training. He's like a little lovebird, which is like a little baby parrot, and he's awesome. He actually is like coming to me, but I have to kind of like chase him and force him, but I feel like loving me a little more. So I have to like Google and research a little bit more because I want him just to come and like perch on my hand, not having to like corner him and chase him, but they're awesome. I love them. They're so cute.
I like your description of that. He's coming to me. I just have to chase him and beg him a little, but he's coming.
I like when I was like dating.
Is that how you date? Is that how you landed date?
Yeah, I will chase you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I stopped them. And here we are.
Okay, so just a little recap. You said, I thought, I might have heard incorrectly, that Coco is a hamster?
Coco is like a little winter white dwarf hamster. Yes.
A dwarf hamster. Okay, because I thought he looked really small.
Yeah, he's like a little dwarf. Well, she's probably only like 9 weeks old, I guess. Like she's just a little tiny little. She's very sweet.
A little rodent.
If she wasn't sleeping right now, I'd bring her on, but she needs her rest.
Quite all right. It's really okay. I'm good. Because again, I'm just having like, I don't know, issues because I just think she just basically looks like a mouse.
She does. She doesn't have a gross tail. She's so sweet.
Okay. Here's the thing. When I come over to your house,
yes,
don't you dare get her out. Promise.
Oh, you will love her.
No, I won't. No.
Oh, by that time, she'll be like serving drinks and stuff on her back. I'll have her trip.
If she can do that, then I will warm up to her immensely. Okay. If she can, show us that she can do some stuff and be productive and helpful, you might be won over.
I'm going to train her. I'll train her. Put little snacks on her back.
Good Lord.
She's super cute. She needs clothes for sure.
Really? Can you dress them? Do people do that? I don't know.
I think so. She has a harness. Like we could take her for walks, but she's still too small to fit in it.
Oh my God, like seriously? What?
Yeah, if you want to like walk your hamster.
You got to be kidding.
She has like a little tiny harness, but she's still too tiny for it. So we'll see if she grows it.
So you legit have this harness. You bought it.
Clearly it was like the first thing I asked for. The pets.
Of course it would be. Yeah. Sorry. Stupid question. Of course. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Because I thought maybe it was a gerbil, but it's not. It's a hamster.
It's a hamster. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because we could make really bad jokes about gerbils. You know that.
Yeah.
But it's a hamster, so we can't make the jokes. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, they're different. So
yeah, they are different.
Similar but different.
A little bit different,
I lost my straw. Oh, there it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, okay. Today is going to be a good one because we got an email from one of our male listeners.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. And, again, it's a situation that you have sadly experience in, but I thought it was really it was really interesting to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm going to read what our listeners sent in, the question, and then obviously I'm going to let you answer because this is your area of expertise as we discuss death, divorce, and dating. This one has to do with death. So
okay,
this is what our friend, I'm going to the end, Mark has said to us. He said, "Hello, Kat and Michele. I was referred to your show by a friend. I love listening to your show and thought my question would be best brought to you ladies.
Oh.
Never lost a partner, but I have a few interesting relationships. I've recently met a woman who is widowed. She's absolutely great. However, I'm unsure if I should bother getting close. She's single, no kids, great career, and she is a great girl. I'm unsure if she will be emotionally stable. I worry that she will never get over or get to a better place in her life. She says she's okay, but is she really? I just need some advice on how to approach this type of person with all she's been through. I've never experienced loss really that has affected my life in what she's experienced. Looking to see your thoughts and advice." So that is from Mark. And thank you, Mark, for writing in because this is really something great to talk about because
I would say this is actually an awesome topic for sure because
it is. Yeah.
I think it's good for both sides to hear about it. So obviously for the person who hasn't gone through loss and who hasn't gone through that trauma, and then also for the person who has. So yeah, I mean, okay, where to even start? So it sounds like he's looking for so it sounds like he's met this girl and she's been through all this stuff. It sounds very similar to me. Like I was younger, I had no kids, I was really focused on my career at the time. And so says she's wonderful. So I can relate.
For you.
Sounds like he's talking about me. No. So I totally get where he's coming from. So he has concerns. Very well. He should, absolutely, because it is not a typical relationship for sure. So I think the words of advice I would say, if you say this person's a great person and they've got their shit together and they're totally available and, they haven't gone through this like myself with a kid to worry about, because that changes the whole dynamic for sure. hence why it was probably easier for me to move on, because it was just about me. There was no one else that I had to put before myself. So
Right.
this situation, I'd say you hit the jackpot only because she just has to do her at this time.
Right.
In terms of, is she going to get over it? I mean, for me, it's been 4 years and I'm engaged. I've got a soon to be stepson. My life changed very quickly. I was not expecting to be where I am. Even looking back, like I'm surprised at where I am today and how far I've come and how much my life has changed. And it wasn't planned. It just kind of happened. So,
Sure.
I don't think there's any like right or wrong answer. I think that if she is in a place where you guys are talking and it looks like clearly like she's giving you signs that she wants something more for you to write into us, that tells me that she's maybe like, yeah, like I'm ready to test the waters. I think when meeting a widow, you have to really step back and just, for yourself, do your own little assessment of the person. I would say, like, is this person just with me because like they're lonely, or is there a real connection? And I think that for me, everything happened so naturally. It just kind of, we went on our first date and I just can't get rid of him. He's still here. So it worked out very well. It was very natural. I never felt uncomfortable. And I never felt guilty. And I think that is like a huge, huge sign. So if you feel that the relationship is going natural and that she's not forcing it, or it doesn't seem very awkward, just kind of go with the flow. Women are very emotional, and it is easy for a woman to feel lonely and then just maybe attach herself to, a man that's giving her attention. And I can see why Mark is maybe a little worried, because it's like, he's got to invest his time and energy in this.
Sure.
Is she just gonna, come crashing down and get upset and say, no, I can do this? So I can't promise that she won't. Sure. And I also can't say that, it's a very hard, everybody's so different when it comes to their loss, because I don't know the whole story or the big picture of what her life was like, how the person passed, and there's just so many different things. Sure. To kind of give you some basic tips, not only for you, but for her, because it's not just about how you feel, it's about how she feels, and vice versa. But I could say, like, the number one word of advice I can give people getting into a relationship with a widow is, number one, it's not a competition. So the person's gone. So if the widow or widower consistently makes reference to their late partner, deal with it. Because if it's just coming out, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, they're not over them. I don't think you ever get over them. I think the love changes. Yeah. The relationship with that spirit or person or whatever you believe in changes. But you have to be somebody that is strong, and somebody who isn't the jealous type, and somebody that is willing to respect and celebrate that person potentially for the duration of your relationship with them. So I'll give you an example. So when I first met Dave, he was fully aware of my situation. And one of the things that really, and I still remember it to this day, one of the conversations that we had, it was within the first couple weeks that we had met. And he had said, I would really like to see like pictures of your late husband. Like, I kind of want to know who he was. And so, I went through photos and just, wedding, honeymoon, celebrations, everything. And his reaction is what really like gave me like a wow, like this might be the real deal. And it was because he was asking questions. He was so empathetic and you know, one of the things I'll never forget, he said, he goes, wow, he goes, poor guy, like it's so sad that, you know, he went so young. Like there was just compassion, and I was like, wow, because before meeting Dave, I wasn't really actively dating, but I had met guys, and I'll tell you, jealous. They would get like offended if I brought up James's name. So you have to be comfortable with that, because even to this day, I'm going to talk about James, and I'm going to bring stuff up, and I'm going to get sad on my anniversary and his birthday and all these types of things. And that it may be years, it'll get easier, but it's still fairly new. So the other tip, so this brings me to my next tip, is allow the person to grieve during the birthdays and anniversaries and those, because they're going to. I know for me, like, especially during COVID, when we don't know what day of the week it is or what's going on, I was feeling really heavy, right? Leading into April. And then I was like, oh yeah, James's anniversary is the 2nd, and my dad's is April 5th.
Right.
So it's always kind of like, and I physically, and I've even talked to my counselors about it. It's like, you just know, your body just knows. So you sometimes can't help yourself, but anyone who is a widow or widower, you can't expect them just to sweep things under the rug. You got to let them go through the process. So if you can't deal with that, don't get in a relationship with a widow.
But doesn't sort of timelines play in there as well? I mean, we don't know a lot about Mark's situation. I mean, we don't know how long it's been for her. Maybe it hasn't been a long time, and maybe that's why he's a little more anxious. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we don't know that timeline, but I would think
really depends.
Right?
Yeah, it really depends. I just think I don't think there's any rules for timelines. I think that if you really loved your spouse and they're gone, it ain't going. There's always going to be always going to be a hole in the heart. No matter how much love you get from a new person, it's just an experience, you know. And yeah, it's definitely a different type of relationship, and it's not for anyone. So if you don't think you can do it, you're not a bad person. I'll be honest with you. If the roles were reversed with me and Dave, I probably would struggle. I think women would struggle with it more, because I think we're just like emotional beings who want, like, when we have a man, we want the attention, we want it for us. So for us to share that love with even someone who's no longer here on earth, I think it would be harder for women to deal with a widower. I think men are a little bit, I don't know, it's so hard to say because people are so different. But I think that one word of advice I would give to someone possibly getting in a relationship with a widow or widower is, don't think you have to act or be like the late partner. And my relationship is completely a great example of that. You know, we came into each other's lives at a time where we both had our friendships, relationships established, and our way of life and our wants and likes, and some things align really well and some things we look at completely differently. And we've talked about this before, like my group of friends, we were all very, very, very close with my late husband. And Dave, I mean, he you know, he loves my friends. He thinks they're great. Has he become best friends with all of them? No. And I can't expect him to. And I've had these conversations with friends before, because he's got his life. So he's not going to kind of walk in and then just fill in for James. That's not how it works. So,
no, or should it?
So yes. And this is also a good message, not only for people trying to get in a relationship, but for friends of families. Don't expect that new person to come into that, you know, friend or whoever's life thinking things are going to be the same, because they're not. It's not. Right. It's not the same. The relationship's going to be different. Boundaries are very, very important. He has his boundaries, and I have to respect that, because I can't just waltz into his life and say, well, this is how it was with James and I expect this from you. It's not fair. It would never work. So you have to, there's just different components and elements. So it's not just about worrying about, you know, is this person going to get over they're late. They're not. They're not. Things will get easier over time, but it's all the other components that are really, really important. So you have to think, can I do these things? Can I make these sacrifices on both sides too? I walked into a relationship with someone with a kid.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of decisions to make too. Do I want to get involved with someone else's child? Do I want to be an insta mom if this gets serious? And I love this child as if it was my own. And am I going to create that bond and so on and so forth? Like, so there was a lot of decisions I had to make. So it's not just about the person coming into the widow or widower's life. It's that widow now who basically just got the reset button hit on their life, like myself. It's crazy. And maybe this is not the best way to put it, but God was like, reset, Michelle, start again. So how do you want your life to look? And I could have done a million different things. And I had a million different of ideas of places I wanted to live and move and blah, blah, blah. And here I ended up in a place I've never heard of, in a town that I never thought that, in a million years, if you asked me a few years ago, I would never think I'd be living out in the country where it's like a little bit more quiet and not like in the city with the hustle bustle. But you change as you get older, and I've changed and become wiser, and I understand what's important to me. And out of everything that's happened in my life, I've never been happier than where I am today. So you have to just put away everyone else's expectations too of what your friends or your family think is good for you. And you got to just follow your heart and do what's good for you too.
The thing that I think though too, Michelle, for Mark in particular, there's just no guarantees with any relationship, and if she's telling him that she's feeling okay and clearly she's showing interest in him, go for it. She's clearly ready. She wants to move on too. And at the end of the day, you just got to give it a shot.
And the other thing I'll say too, people will say, is it a red flag? Should you proceed with caution? Like he's saying in his letter, is it like a losing proposition to get into this arrangement? And my answer is, I think widows and widowers are probably the best, most eligible humans out there. These are people who have had solid relationships. They were probably could have been hopefully happily married or in long-term relationships. They know how to communicate. They know how to commit. They probably know how to work through problems and miss the fact of being married. So if you are looking at getting into a serious relationship with a widow, probably not a bad thing, because we're also going to appreciate things a lot more. And I'm not perfect by any means. He'll tell you that. But
of course, nobody is.
And trust me, I get my bitchy moments, and I get angry and I say things I don't mean. But I'll tell you, at the end of the day, when I have time to reflect, I sometimes am like, ooh, maybe I should have been a little bit more like gentle or not as abrasive. I know I never would have thought of that before, but now I catch myself like always reflecting. And trust me, our relationship is not perfect. Nobody's is, but I definitely will say on my end, I'm a lot more aware and have more self-reflection time on how I can be a better partner, because I know what it's like to lose, and it is something you never want to go through, especially when you love someone and you have a good relationship like I did. So I would say that a widow knows what they want when they're ready to love again. So for me, I had a pretty clear idea of the type of partner that I wanted in my life. And I could probably say that I pretty much got that. I mean, everybody always has like their perfect little human. And I could say that, yeah, for me, Dave checked all the boxes. So I didn't just go with him because he was available. Like I said, there was a lot of things to consider, knowing him and knowing his beliefs and his boundaries. And I was comfortable with it. And so far, so good. So I can't complain there. And also with widow and widowers, I would say their search in their next partner is taken very seriously. And I think that's like the whole hidden gem of dating someone who's a widow or widower. They know what they want. It is like, okay, I've been through hell and back. I'm not settling. So this is what I expect in a partner. So, and I think you just have to, and you know, it doesn't matter what people say, you're just going to do what you want to do because it's right for you in your life. So, I think that, yeah, I definitely see why people would be worried and want to proceed with caution. But I honestly think that you would probably have more, I would just say everyone go out and find a widow. Like I really would. I feel like you're going to get
Interesting dating advice.
yes, go out there, guys. No, it's you probably
Divorced, not widowed. Sorry. Sorry.
no. I honestly just think that when you go through something extremely traumatic, I've definitely grown a little softer. My heart's a little bit bigger, and I appreciate things and the people in my life a lot more. Like I said, not a perfect partner by any means. But I definitely put a little extra into everything I do for the family now. And building a family life with Dave is my main priority. Making sure he's happy, making sure Marcus is happy. That is my number one priority in my life. And it's just funny how that changes because before that was life of Michele and that was it. You went blank. I don't know what happened to you. You're coming back.
Did you lose me?
All right. I was like,
there. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Anyway, it's just, I think it's such a good. It's such. I'm glad we had this conversation, and I got. I'm glad that we got this letter because it's definitely interesting. It's interesting.
Definitely. And I would imagine too, and it's just, you know, not necessarily obviously in our wheelhouse yet, but definitely a different situation to date a widower that has children.
Yeah.
That definitely brings a whole other layer, I would imagine, of, you know, just respecting the partner that has passed and, you know, because you got to do that for the kids. But I almost see that as being just naturally more of a given, you know, to understand that coming into a new relationship. Well, oh, he or she has kids. Clearly, they're not going to forget about the parent they've lost. So
right, that would be
that sort of probably is different, but still important. And you know, I think if you want to bond with those children, you need to be very respectful of the parent they've lost. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so it is tricky, but again, you know, you have to have faith in believing that the person is ready. And if you feel like you want to go for it, I think you need to go for it and see where it goes. There are no guarantees with anything.
Well, that's just it. You can date anyone who's not there's no guarantee just because there's
no guarantees.
Exactly.
And who knows the baggage, you know, baggage from just relationships that people have, not from even, you know, physically losing them. So it's tricky, but wonderful question to ask. And obviously, you know, you've got a lot of insight in it. And I think Mark should go for it.
I do
That's
too.
I do.
I'm team.
She sounds terrific from what little we know of her. So, you know, why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you have this life, you know, you have this life to live. And sadly, a lot of things go wrong in your life on so many levels.
Yes.
And, you know, if you can get up each day and find some joy, and if you know, fall for someone that makes you happy and you want to spend time with people, you know, you've got to do it. I think you just have to do it. You know, don't question so much. Just live in the moment and go for it.
Well, that's just it. I think, like, I guess it's hard for some people to just look at, the widower thing is such a dramatic, traumatic thing that people just, I think you just have to put it aside and see how the connection goes. And if all
but have a conversation, you know, like you had such a beautiful moment with your partner, Dave, asking about your husband and on all that stuff. Like you had that moment of realizing, hey, this is a sensitive, caring guy. And you have to have those conversations clearly with someone. You know, Mark needs to have a conversation with this girl, you know, like let her know that if she needs to talk about her partner that's passed, that's a safe space to be, you know? I mean, you got to talk about stuff. If you don't talk about things, you're never going to know. And
No,
you're going to get and
true.
wonder. So talk about it. Ask the questions. And maybe she doesn't have the answers in the moment, but at least you've given her something to think about, and she'll come back to Mark and say, okay, this is what I'm comfortable talking about. This is how I feel. I mean, I don't know if enough men talk enough still. I'm hoping that they're working on it. And I know some are great, but I think a lot, like men and women communicate so differently.
Yeah.
That I just hope more couples are finding that middle ground somewhere, you know, to get through to each other. Because I think there's a lot of miscommunication, and it's sad because it shouldn't be that.
Yeah, there is. I think men hold things more than women. Which is funny because in my relationship, I feel like he tells me I don't talk enough. So he's always like, what's up? Like what he can tell. He knows the minute I wake, if I've woken up with something in my head, or like he knows me like anything. So I can't trick him. I can't fool him.
He reads you.
Oh yeah. There's no duck in him. And I could say, and if it could be something, but maybe I don't want to talk. I'll be like, oh, it's okay, whatever. But he's really good, because there's some days where I just don't want to talk, but I really need to, and he'll get it out of me. So he's really good that way.
And you're lucky for that. And I really hope that more people, especially, you know, with everyone living in this crazy world right now, spending a lot of time alone, spending a lot of time with a partner that they've never had the time with before. I just hope in the end that you found something positive out of it as far as communication, because without it, you really don't have a great relationship. And I just hope that people are opening themselves up a little bit more, because it really makes your life a lot easier at the end of the day when you're not guessing what the other person is feeling or thinking. We don't need to know everything. No, you know what I mean? But just as far as, you know, feelings and thoughts and stuff, like things that could hurt me in a relationship may not hurt my partner. You know what I mean? Like we're so different. So I think if you can talk about it more, you're in a better place.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
Faux show.
Faux show, go.
Faux show. Faux shizzle.
I can still hear Tuco.
Oh yeah. Tuco's up.
Does she make noise? Is it a she?
Boy.
Okay, I don't know. Does he make noise all the time?
No.
Okay.
So typically what we'll do is we'll get up in the morning, we'll open the cage, he'll fly to the windowsill. We have bird feeders outside, so he just we get these little yellow finches all the time. So he just like watches them, he'll tweet at them, and then he might tweet a little bit, and then he shuts up.
Okay.
And then he'll rest. We'll tire him out because we do like little training with him. He gets tired out pretty quick, and then he'll just shut up. And then now, because I was out earlier today and the day's been in the garage working, he hasn't had like a lot of like interaction. So now he's starting to tweet again. He's like, no, I'm here. But then I can shut him up in 5 minutes. Like he's a good little boy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
No, he's good. He's good so far. I have seen a lot of ads on Kijiji, like lovebirds in cage for sale.
Seriously?
Because you know what? People get them, like me, just because they see them and they're cute and you want to take them home, but they're work. It's not like just like a little bird you put in a cage and ignore. He's from like the parrot family, so he needs interaction, he needs toys to talk to. But I love him, so I love talking to him. Dave does. Nice. We all do. So
nice.
He's cute.
All right. Well, I'm going to be asking for updates because I'm just waiting for that 1 week where you're like, yeah, Tuco's great.
Yeah, Tuco's great. Yeah, so far so good. I love my little hamster. My non-gerbil hamster.
Sorry.
He's really.
It's just the whole rodent thing. It'll always be my issue.
I know. I hate like mice and stuff too. I was actually worried when Marcus said like I want a hamster, because I was like, but then when she came home and I'm like, okay, and they totally bond with you. Like now I'm like, I need a hamster all the time.
Okay.
So sweet. They're sweet.
I'll be with my dog. I'm good.
Oh, I know. I know. They're cute.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I'm gonna go make another beverage, and I guess I got to be productive and do more today.
Do more. Yeah, me too. I gotta go do some laundry. That's
Good
about.
time.
We got the little one coming back home for the weekend, so I gotta get some.
Okay, so you're gonna have a busy weekend.
Yeah.
And it's a long weekend here in Canada.
That's right.
Isn't that crazy? Doesn't feel like it at all.
Oh, I know.
You can't go anywhere.
I know.
So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend that I'm up north.
Yeah.
I'll roast some marshmallows in my fireplace.
Do that.
That's all I can do.
There you go.
It's like that, actually. That's a good plan. I have such good ideas. Okay, thank you.
So smart.
My Netflix this week, I am watching Dead to Me. I watched the first season back in the day. I'm into the second season. Very enjoyable. I'm loving it.
I know. I was supposed to start Widow, and I was supposed to start Dead to Me. A few of my friends have already like blew through Dead to Me, so I'm like way behind. I'm still on Billions. We had a lot of seasons to go through.
You need to, move on to some other things. Like you don't have
Billions is so good.
But do you have to one at a time? We can watch a few things.
I know. Billions will be done. Billions might be done today or tomorrow. So then I'm going to move on. We just don't, I know. I swear to God, I feel like we're busier now during this COVID pandemic.
You're ways to stay busy. Right?
We're just busy. Yeah, we're busy. We're not watching a lot of TV, but yeah, we're just crushing a little bit of Billions. So I think today, I just heard the garage close. So hopefully he's done, and then we'll just.
All right.
And watch Billions.
Okay. Well, have a fun night, girl.
You too.
And I'll talk to you very soon.
Okay, girly girl.
Okay, bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to DX3 Podcast Radio. And
bye, everybody.
Bye. Send us questions, thoughts. We love to talk about you.
Yes. Later.